Goalie today?
Urs, go back. Excuse me.
And it looks like you're making a scratch?
Yeah, so he was getting some work on ice stuff with Yogi today, and then put D'Lo in,
And meaning also.
and then Z will go back in. Yep.
How's St. He was skating this morning because he was testing things out.
Yeah, he's fine. He's fine. Yeah, he's fine. Yep.
Rick, obviously you have a lot of history with the Penguins
Yeah,
as
yeah.
well as the Flyers.
Yeah.
I guess is this weird for you? Coaching the Flyers against a team like the Penguins, where there is a natural rivalry, but you've kind of been on both sides of it.
Yeah, a little bit. It's a great rivalry over the years. I've lived it, as a player and then obviously assistant coach in Pittsburgh, playing in Pittsburgh. It's a great rivalry, both great cities. Had their share of success either way, and there's a lot of. I hate using the word hate, but there's a lot of which is good. I think rivalries should be that way, where they're intense. So usually happens when both teams are successful and stuff, and obviously Pittsburgh's hottest team in the league, and what's one of our rivals. So you're looking for that kind of game tonight.
What have you seen from them? We've had a chance to watch them both on tape, and then maybe just when you're watching hockey, and what's allowed them to get off to this hot start.
Well, leadership. When you talk about Pittsburgh over the years, their leadership is strong. They even when they're tough times, they still kind of hang in there. Obviously Sid has said, he's having a great year. Malkin is obviously, I was told, really worked hard this summer. You can tell. Give the coach a lot of credit. They're believing in what they're doing, and they're coming up with timely goals. I mean, it's just a little bit of everything, but you still got Letang, Crosby, Malkin. Those guys are solid leaders. So I think the leadership is a big thing that over the years that they've really, formed.
Do you think those three guys take it personally that people were sort of doubting them because they're so far advanced in years and they've had all this success? Or sort of, no one expected the Penguins to be where they are in the standings. They maybe took it a little personal.
Yeah, I do. I think Malkin took it personal, like the people thought he's done, maybe even Chris Letang. And, those guys work as hard as anybody off the ice that I've ever seen, and they work on their game. Even though Father Time catches up, they're prolonging it, right? So I think, I'd say they're taking it personal because, they've won a lot of hockey games. They're great players, and they're not really ready to throw in the towel. You can tell.
You talked before about building a swagger at home.
Yeah.
Far, you're 4-1-0 at home. Do you feel like you're doing some good things to try to build like a bit of an identity here in Philadelphia?
Yeah, I think that swagger's great. I think obviously taking advantage of the schedule. We have a lot of home games. Which is part of it. Getting to our game, sticking with our game. That's still a work in progress, but we're having good pockets at home. Coming back, even though you're down 2-0, that's a good sign. Little things like that it helps the identity of your team, and that's something we're just trying to work on every day, the culture and all that sort of stuff. They're good?
So good.
No, go ahead.
How do you
Yeah.
feel like the power play is, and what do you think the next step is maybe?
Yeah. Well, like I said, I've liked some of the movement over. If you go from day one of training camp till now, it's 2 months or 8 weeks. I've liked the progression of the movement and some of the concepts that we're trying to give them. Now, the next part is the execution. This is something that we got to get better at. Don't throw pucks away, being able to make a play, and then making a play under pressure. I mean, that's power play is really what it's about. You beat pressure, and now can you make that next play? It's been a hit or miss on the next play, but if you look at the goal we scored there, big goal, Zegras' goal there, the goal must right. We attack. Bobby Brink comes off the wall. He attacks the interior. He shoots it. 3 at the net. Boom, we're in the net. Sometimes everybody wants set plays and all these plays. The best power plays, you Winnipeg and Colorado, these teams, it's you beat pressure, then it's on. Whatever's on, it's on. You play, right? But yeah, there's certain things that we're looking for. If the net front defense is playing the bumper, we should be looking for a low play, right? Those are the reads we got to get some of our players up to speed in. If a team's topping down on us, what are we looking to do? We're looking to hit the bumper back to the point with a shot. Like that should be a natural reaction. Right now, we're a little in between. So I think if we catch up with the reads, all of us, I think, and then coaches included, we got to practice it and we got to get these guys understanding it. But if we get our reads better and we execute, that's when the power play starts to go. So, but like I said, overall, I don't think it's as bad as people say it is. I think but the optics, the 2-on-1s, the shorthand goals, I agree. It's awful. We can't do that. So the optic of that hampers it looks bad for the power play. Let's put it that way.
You do talk a lot about the power play, but what are your feelings on the penalty kill, I guess, then?
I think the penalty kill's done a good job. I think that we've been put in some spots where, the first 3 games of the year, 5 power plays, 5 power plays, 5 power plays, and to come out of there with a couple of wins or, whatever, so because you're giving that many power plays. So I think it's been pretty good, and I think the goalies have helped, but I think the structure and I think having the 3 sets go out there, we have 3 pretty good sets. I can go, the 3, we probably got 7 guys that can kill penalties up front, which is a good luxury for me to have.
Where's your head at with regards to Travis Konecny? I know
Yeah.
a lot of ink has been spilled this year
Yeah.
about Mishkov's struggles to start the year, but your TK is a top scorer too, and he's off to a little bit of a slow
Yeah.
offensive start at least.
Yeah, he's one thing he's working, which is great, and I think for TK, and I think he knows. He comes up to me all the time about it. Puck decisions, like turnovers, like he's just got to maybe a little bit more calculated when he has the puck. I think the one thing I've felt this team does, because it's puck possession game, is throw pucks away. We just got to be careful of that. I think it's. I'm a big believer. You catch it, move your feet into your option, and sometimes when you don't move your feet, you want to go to that option, but you're not moving the defense. You got to move the defense. So how do you move the defense? Well, you create, off a puck possession play, and then all of a sudden, you make the other team have decisions. When you just throw pucks away, it's easy to defend. So I would say for him it's puck decisions, but overall I think, he's coming close. He's getting some chances. They'll go in for him.